Hello guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be my everyday carry. In this video, I'm just going to be discussing what I carry every single day for work or even on weekends as well. So this is just a no BS, none of that extra, I guess, sponsored video. This is all stuff I simply carry every single day for my life. And I guess to start off, we can start off with my telephone of choice. And it does not want to focus. Anyways, this is going to be the Google Pixel 8 Pro. I've actually had a Google Pixel phone for almost about 5 years. My first phone was the Google Pixel 4 XL, which was kind of what brought me into the ecosystem. And since then, I've actually just stick with Google for that entirety. So for those who don't know, this is going to be Google's flagship device, and it actually comes with an array of amazing features. One of the few things that I really do love about Google and their flagship device is going to be the caller ID filter. So it basically gets rid of like all the telemarketers and all the scammers, and it will actually alert you and kind of have Google Assistant answer for you instead of you, the person answering the device. So the Google Assistant is going to answer for you, and they're going to ask two simple questions: who are you calling and what is this for? And with that, a lot of the times robocalls and everything is just filtered out, and it'll automatically hang up for you, so you don't have to worry about going back. However, if Google Assistant does receive answers, it'll actually alert me on my phone. It'll actually transcribe it for me on my device, and it'll actually tell me who's calling and what are their intentions. And it kind of makes things a lot easier, especially if you're receiving a phone call and you don't necessarily have that person's number. This actually does come in handy. So aside from taking great photos, the 120 Hertz display, there are a couple of cons. One thing I don't necessarily like is going to be the battery life. You can definitely mitigate this by switching down to 60 Hertz instead of 120, but it kind of ruins the whole experience of the device. And I personally love the premium features it offers. So that's the only downside I have about it. However, I do use my phone almost like 10 to 12 hours a day. And it's not because I'm on my phone constantly, but as a repair technician and as a person who repairs Chromebooks for a living, I like to have music or maybe even watch anime in the background while I'm doing work. At the end of the day, I use almost 10 to 12 hours of battery life, which is ridiculous, and it's kind of very, very concerning. But for the most part, as a person who uses the phone very, very often, I do have to charge it midday. If it's a weekend like Saturday or Sunday, my phone battery at least lasts the whole day, and at the most part it ends around 20 to maybe about 15%. Again, not the greatest. It's not like Samsung or Apple, but it still gets the job done. All right, next up on the list is going to be my Zephyrus G14. This device I actually use a lot, and it's something I can't necessarily live without. So I do emails through here, I do a little bit of Photoshop here and there on this device, and more importantly, it can game. So this device is going to be the Ryzen 9 4900HS, and it comes equipped with a RTX 2060 Max-Q. And no, Max-Q does not mean ultimate gaming type graphics card, it just means a cut down version of the 2060, but can't complain. When originally purchasing this device at Best Buy, I got it on a great deal at $1,000. However, there are much better models than this. This is going to be the 2020 or 2019 version. I'm not too entirely sure. Please don't quote me. I'll have everything listed right here. Mumbo jumbo. One of the main things I don't necessarily like about this device is going to be the battery life. However, it's still 1080p and 120 Hertz. And quite honestly, gaming laptops are not necessarily meant to have a great battery life because you're gonna get the best performance when it's plugged in. So that's kind of the trade-off you get, but it's not a big deal. Still a great device overall, and something I cannot live without. Speaking of laptops, another thing that I cannot live without is going to be this Crucial X6 2TB SSD. This is a great SSD. It's pretty straightforward. This has podcast recordings. I contain a lot of the Photoshop images that I do. I know I have a couple of videos edited through DaVinci Resolve with this as well. And also I guess I could contain, some sound effects and stuff on this drive. So yeah, very useful to have. And I think everyone should carry one of these, especially if you're on the go or if you're someone who kind of likes to offload most of their videos, music, or podcasts out of your computer. This is a great way to store them. It's been very reliable to me, and I've had this for almost 2 years now. So I could definitely say this is a must-have. On the topic of must-have, this is also another thing I would recommend. This is going to be the Sheffield Survivor's knife. So what this knife is, it's just going to be your regular basic knife, right? And on top of that regular basic knife, you're actually going to have a seatbelt cutter. So if you're ever in a situation where you can get in a car accident and your seatbelt is caved in or you can't necessarily take it out, well, you can use one of this cutter to kind of cut open the belt and get out. So yeah, definitely a cool thing to have. And on top of that, it has a window breaker on the tip of this knife, which is pretty cool. You know, not a lot of knives have this functionality, and I think it's very important to carry around wherever you go. As someone who's driving all the time, almost 20 miles back and forth, if I'm ever in an accident, I know this will be there for me. And on top of that, it's a bottle opener, so if I'm ever cracking a cold one with the boys, well, got this right here. All right, and that leads me to my next thing I carry all the time. This is going to be my journal. So this journal is more of a planner, so I like to plan and I like to kind of write things down in my head. My brain is essentially just everywhere most of the time, and you know, when an idea or a thought comes to my head, especially at work, because for some reason that's where it happens all the time, I need to jot it down. If I don't, I'm gonna simply forget, and you know, kind of sucks if I do, because sometimes it's a $1 million idea and guess what, it's down the drain. So yeah, I use this not all the time. I started using it again. I was using it for school originally, but yeah, I just stopped. But now this month, well, it's a little bit packed, as you can see. Other from YouTube videos, sponsors that are sending products over. I think it's the best time to kind of, you know, get organized with this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's very important to carry a journal, planner, jot down your ideas, and yeah, it's definitely one of my essentials. Another essential I like to carry around is going to be this Fidget Toy. I featured this on my channel before, I think about 3 or 4 videos ago on my desk setup. And well, this, all it does is just a fidget toy. You know, as someone who does video editing and, you know, Photoshop work, I kind of need something in order for me to get focused on. I get distracted very easily, and something like this just helps me keep focused when I'm working on something, or if I need to read something very important. In order for me to retain information correctly, I use something like this to get me back on track. All this does is just more of like I guess like a brain itch. So such a weird thing to call it. But yeah, it does the job for me. I know it's kind of weird, and I know people will say something weird about it in the comments, but yeah, my wife thinks I have ADHD. I'm not too sure, and I don't want to get diagnosed. So yeah, I use this to cope with it. So, and my trusty screwdriver. This screwdriver, I featured it on my channel. This is actually the first video featured this on the channel, but I've been using this for quite a while now as a repair technician. I'm always repairing stuff at work, Chromebooks, desktops, etc. So I like to kind of keep a, you know, handy screwdriver. Unfortunately, I've upgraded my screwdriver and I've been using different ones at work, so I don't necessarily carry this like I used to. However, it's great to have in your bag just in case if you need to access some stuff, maybe a desktop out of sight, or if I need to access stuff at home, or if I'm like at my parents' house. It's very nice to carry this. So yeah, this is also pretty good to have. And I forgot to mention this because this should have been the first thing I also should have mentioned. This is going to be a power bank. So this power bank is, you know, a fairly simple, very basic power bank I got off of Amazon for 20 bucks for 2. So 2 for 20, not bad. $10 each if you put it that way. But one of the cool features I do like about this is when I press the button on the side, it kind of gives me a status of the battery life on this power bank. So currently I have 4 dots, meaning this fully charged. But yeah, this has 10 milliwatts of power, so more than enough to power my device 2 times. But yeah, to charge this device, you would need a USB Type-C or a micro USB. Unfortunately, you cannot charge off of those 2 ports. It only receives power for these 2 ports. To, you know, get power from the bank, you would need to use the 2 primary USB connectors. So yeah, kind of sucks, but I mean, 10 bucks, it's very cheap. Had this for 3 years now, have not broken or have not seen anything deteriorate over time. But yeah, it's been a great bank and definitely a good bang for your buck product. Speaking of other phone accessories, another thing I do love to use is going to be my Pixel A series Pixel Buds. They're fairly decent and I got them on sale, so I can't necessarily complain about them. I've seen some other earbuds, Bluetooth earbuds, for slightly cheaper, and in some instances like Soundcore or Anchor, they've actually had a little bit better sound. However, because it's a Google product, it just works instantly. It's like the AirPods for the iPhone. Flip it open and it already connects instantly with my Google Pixel. So that's one of the main reasons why I don't really switch over to different earbuds. Because of convenience and efficiency, I kind of stick with these. The battery life of the case is actually fairly decent, but the battery life on the buds, not so much. I can go almost a week without charging my case. However, the actual Pixel Buds themselves don't have the greatest battery life. I'm typically averaging about 3 hours worth of battery life for each bud, and as someone who's constantly working or listening to podcasts, it's just not enough. I kind of like to interchange each one, so I'll go with my right earbud for 3 hours, change it out, left earbud for another 3 hours, change it out, and then I kind of swap in between them. That's kind of been my way about these things. But yeah, so other than convenience, I can't necessarily recommend these Pixel Buds. However, because I got them at a great deal and it was kind of bundled in with my Google 8 Pro, kind of left with no choice but to keep them. All right, lastly, but definitely not least, is going to be the Targus laptop bag. Laptop bag. Sorry, I don't know why it's hard to say. This bag can house a 17-inch laptop, much bigger than average laptop. So if you have a huge laptop, guess what? This thing fits it perfectly. It has a lot of storage compartments. On the first part, you're gonna have a big storage compartment in the front. You're gonna have 3 different smaller compartments right here, as well as a mesh compartment if you need to access maybe things like pics or USB drives. This is where you would typically house them. On the next zipper, you're gonna have one huge housing in the front, and this is gonna be where you store your laptop. I kind of wish they added a compartment where you can store other stuff in there alongside your laptop, but that's what the back is for. So the back actually also holds on to more stuff in here as well as storage, and on top of that there is straps right here, so just in case if you want to hang this like a backpack, or if you want to maybe hang this on some other stuff, it's pretty versatile for the most part. So yeah, this bag is a great bag. I got this for about 20 bucks on Target, so very cheap, very good quality. I've had this for almost 2 years now. As you can see, it's still in great condition. I'm just so surprised about it. I haven't necessarily thrown it around. I actually do keep it very, very tidy, but for the most part, this is probably the best purchase out of all the things I have on my everyday carry. But yeah, this is gonna be my everyday carry. It's not sponsored. There's no BS, none of that extra tech stuff that you don't need. This is just a plain, transparent video. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you guys want to watch more content like this, well, there's a sub button right down below where you can press that and continue watching me every single week. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.